We're live! Alright, folks. Tonight's Meeting of the Minds, we're going to do things a bit differently. I'm going to start out with a brief monologue and then open the floor up to my guests. Because, quite frankly... Oh, wow, somebody's got a... Wow. That was my own fucking shit. Wow. That rarely happens. No, it's because I was trying to watch my news, no lie. And also check something else out, but... Alright, so... Basically, sup, Avid? So, for starters tonight, going to talk about the war campaign for the last time. See, we've had... Anyone who knows about me and the war campaign knows I've called out their bad behavior in the past. You know, doesn't change how I am. I call everyone's bad behavior out. I've done it to EVS. I've done it to everyone. Doesn't matter how big you are, I call out your bad behavior. Well, I called out the war campaign's bad behavior. Then Bro reached out to me, and he basically tried to, if you will, build a bridge. Fix the issues that have sprung up, and, you know, create a sense of unity within Comicsgate. Well, I go on their live stream, and that's what we do. The next night, apparently, the next live stream they did, him and his group decide to mock me. Now, it's not the fact that they mocked, I should say, it's not how they mocked me that irritates me. It's the fact that they mocked me that irritates me. We had smoothed things over. I have on several occasions since then defended them. Even if I disagree, I have downplayed, I've defended, I've done things that, you know, I had already established, hey, you know, I call out people's bad behavior, and now I'm covering for them because made peace, trying to do the right thing. And I can't even get that respect in return. So, like I said, this is the last time I'm talking about the war campaign. You can choose to support the war campaign, but no. When they make peace with you, they will immediately turn around and possibly go against the very things that they've said. And Sketch, you can sit there and say they mocked themselves, but here's the thing. Mocking... It's one thing when everyone's there and they're mocking themselves. It's another thing when they know the person is not there and they are mocking them. I stood behind what I said when Ro contacted me. I told him straight up about it right off the bat. So, like I said, buyer beware. These are individuals who unfortunately do not understand that if you want to have peace, you must be willing to let peace be. You can't be starting things. We're all going to be successful in Comicsgate. You have to be willing to allow Comicsgate to be seen as a peaceful movement. They cannot, you know, sit there and do the things they're doing and expect everyone to follow along with it. Any thoughts amongst y'all?
Well, I can say I've been unaware. I've been trying really hard to just be friends with everybody. But it's kind of hard when you got so many people together with different points of view, and yeah, it happens.
Oh no, I completely agree. My whole thing is there's certain lines you don't cross, and when you make peace with somebody and you know that somebody is going to go out of their ways to ensure said peace is, you know what I mean?
Sure.
I guess, you know, I didn't actually see what they said. Did you want to go into that, or like exactly?
Basically, Panboy or whatever created a character called the Raging Incel, where he's basically mocking me. It's got the dude has the mask thing, has messed up teeth, very similar way of speaking, things like that, and it's like, okay, one, I could sit there and like the whole thing that bothers me about in the whole calling someone an incel, it's like, okay, one, what if someone actually celibate by choice, like legit by choice.
Like they're a monk or something?
Not so much a monk, but like they just don't want to be worrying about it. It's
Mm-hmm.
MGTOW maybe, or
yeah, like that's another good example. But when to immediately label someone an incel is insulting, and it's also one of those like the fact that, and I wouldn't have even caught it had Ro not said to me in a post about or made a comment about how their incel army rises or something like that, and it's like I'm not an incel. If I wanted to gaslight a chick and do the deed, I can. I've done it before. I don't care anymore. I'm 34, turn 35 at the end of the month. Too old for that shit.
I heard this. Have you heard this meme? I don't know if it's a meme. It's like a Chan thing. But if you what is it? If you don't lose your virginity by age 30, you become a wizard and gain magical powers.
Damn it! I should have.
I know, right? Like I wish I'd known sooner.
I'd be a wizard right now.
Could have.
Fuck you guys. I'd be in the. I'm not even a Harry Potter fan, but I'd rather be there than dealing with the bullshit out here.
So that's part of the reason I think is people that believe that maybe or
I don't know.
holding out for the magic powers to set in.
yeah, they're gonna be disappointed though.
Right? But
Be
all
like,
right.
son of a bitch, I turned down.
Exactly. But all right. Gotten the drama out of the way. Let's have some fun. So let's start out by talking about Fallout 76.
Yes,
Okay.
and how much I want that fucking game.
Oh, no, you don't.
Isn't it out? I thought it was out.
No, it's out, but it's apparently got a lot of fucking bugs.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Really fucking bad.
I've heard really bad things about it.
Well,
Me too.
like,
I just kind of want to play with my buddies that I know from Twitter and stuff and fucking wreck super mutants.
nah. For me, I wanted it because it looks like it was going to be, like Elder Scrolls Online, all right? Here's the
Terrible
thing.
game. Terrible game.
I like Elder Scrolls Online, kind sir. I just put it back on my computer, actually, last night.
Does that mean we can play? Does it work cross system?
No.
'Cause I don't. As if I can play it on my, I think it's still on my Xbox One. If I can play it on my Xbox One, and you can play it on your computer, maybe we can, I don't know, team up. But I don't know.
I'm looking that up.
Avid says Elder Scrolls Online is dog poop, and well, I only played like the first, I don't know, maybe like I played it for maybe an hour, and I was like, this is fucking ridiculous because I couldn't collect anything because there was too many motherfuckers running around.
Oh, dude. I've gotten fairly decently into the game, not too far, but nope, there's no cross-platform, and there likely never will be.
Of course.
Oh, that sucks. Because then
That would have been a lot to ask for too. Usually, if they're cross-platform, it's like cross-console. Like,
yeah.
I don't think.
Well, I heard there was a Minecraft like that.
Well,
Or was I wrong?
no, I there could be.
Well, my whole thing is though with Fallout 76 is it was supposed to be like they could save it. As many problems as they've had with that game, they can save it.
Well,
But
Avid just made the point that pissed me off about that game is there's no full loot like every other Elder Scrolls game. You kill a Daedric Prince and you get 1 fucking gold. That's what pissed me off about that game. Yeah, I couldn't fucking have the armor, I couldn't have the weapons, none of that shit. And then they just respawn 2 seconds later. You go back to the same area that you just killed those dudes, and they're all back.
I can see that argument, but then again,
It's
I
not
was-
Elder Scrolls.
right? I can see that argument, but I was also at the same time, like I went down the blacksmithing tree, so it didn't matter once I got high enough to be able to equip it and everything. I was gonna be able to make it anyway. I like how you put that though with an MMO with with Elder Scroll themes. Well, yeah, well, but it's one of the 2 MMOs I've managed to get into. Well, okay, well, actually 4, but 2 of them are kind of iffy, mainly because I don't have any. All
If I
right,
were going to have an MMO, if I were going to play an MMO, do you guys play the DC Universe Online?
that's one of the ones where I'm iffy. It's like I don't have anyone I can play with, so
Chuck's on there.
I know we were going to play.
So there's who else is in there? I was just talking to him last night. Oh right, Avid. So Fallout. We were supposed to be talking about Fallout. Sorry.
We are supposed to be talking about Fallout 76, and like, so all right, here's the thing that everything that's been found out, all right, about it. You have the like super special edition that came with like a wearable helmet, which is what I wish they did with the Master Chief edition of Halo 3, but whatever, moving on. You know, wearable helmet, you know, supposed to have this badass canvas bag and this, that, and the other.
Oh, yeah.
And what
That
do
I
you
did
get?
hear about.
What'd you get? You got a shitty nylon bag. And then when people complained about it, the one thing that Bethesda was saying, oh well, you know, that was just a prototype. Price problems caused it to not be feasible with the final product. And the Quartering's Jeremy made a very valid point where he said, well, that's gamers wouldn't have probably cared had you said, hey, the canvas bag as advertised is not feasible. Would you like a refund? I think most gamers would be like, I don't really give a shit. You're honest about it up front. Word. Moving on. We're still getting a special edition. All right. Then you have the fact that the code
The quarter
from,
pounder.
oh,
The quarter poundering.
oh no, I was gonna say the code from Fallout 4 is a lot of the code for 76, and the final boss, which is like the queen something or other, is literally the dragon from Skyrim, like all the same animations and everything. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, Avid, all of the homo.
So what do you think of quartering or quarter pounder?
Talking about Jeremy.
Yeah, the quarter.
Jeremy Hamley.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I love
Just
that
making
guy.
sure I'm on the same page.
You never heard him that? Everyone calls him the quarter pounder.
Yeah, that's new to me. I guess I'm out of the loop.
Yeah, me
I
too.
didn't hear that one.
Yeah, that's
I used to watch him
That's funny.
back when he was more into the Magic before he got banned. I watched him, for years on there.
No,
oh cool.
how they did him is part of the reason why I don't buy new cards.
Yeah, that company is they're being taken. they're going the route of, it seems like, every other creative company out there.
Mm-hmm.
You got to try and get him on here sometime.
Wow.
But
Yeah,
I'd be down.
with his 200,000 subscribers, that'd be
Yeah.
sweet.
Yeah, I
Oh.
doubt Jeremy would ever come on my show. Let's just be
Why?
honest. Not big
If he
enough.
did, it'd be-
You had just some guy on here before. You had plenty of good big name guests.
Oh yeah, who I had reached out to at just the right time. Like, and I'm not saying Chris is, like just some guy, stuck up or anything. He's really cool and down to earth. But at the same time, like I said, I just reached out to him at just the right time, caught him on just the right tweet, said something. He responded. I asked him to be on, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm down." I was like, "Sweet." Still say he deserves several medals for some of his videos, man.
Yeah, he makes really good videos. I like
Mhm.
Just Some Guy a lot.
Really
Oh,
chill
yeah.
dude. Really chill dude.
Yeah.
But oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say nothing rattles him. Like even just on Twitter, he's so even killed, and I don't know, that it impresses me. Yeah, cool guy.
Yeah. Well, when he came on here the first time, it was funny. Like it was around when they were talking about doing the Buffy the Vampire Slayer reboot,
Mm.
and like we were talking about that, and then he puts out the video. Oh my god, dude, it was hilarious. Oh, it was hilarious because it was also around the whole what's the one hit piece, Comedy Central hit piece of Richard Mayer.
Oh, yeah.
Can't remember the name. Can't remember the dude's name. Jeffrey somewhere.
Jim Jeffries.
Yeah, Jim Jeffries.
Yeah, Jim Jeffries.
That was so funny too. Like they had like 4 hours, and all they could get to make him look bad was like he grimaced at the question that wasn't even the question they showed. It was just like, that's it? That's the best you got?
And the cuts were so obvious. It was
Yeah, it was so
yeah.
bad. It was like it was so bad. Like it was comical, like you'd see on The Simpsons or something, where it's purposefully bad, like on purpose, so you could tell. But it was just like, dude, they aren't even trying.
Oh yeah.
And they
Yeah,
rounded up some random cosplayers to ask questions too. It's just like, what the
half those cosplayers, I have to wonder if they read comics or not.
Oh, when you have it,
Yeah.
when you have the dude looking like he's the guy from King of Queens.
Yeah, I don't think he even dressed up as anything. They were just like a
Kevin
random
James.
guy.
Yeah, no, I think that's literally who he's trying to be. The Kevin.
Oh, really?
Kevin James, was he?
Yeah, I think he's trying to be Kevin James from King of Queens.
That's funny. That's a lazy cosplay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just like wearing a bowling shirt and jeans.
Well, my whole thought on like the cosplay panel and everything is one, it's like you hear the way they talk about it, and it's like, wait, do you guys even read comics? Do you guys like even understand the arguments being made, or are you just going with talking points by pros?
Probably the latter.
And part of the problem I feel like is because they're so hung up on all the buzzwords surrounding diversity, they're missing the point. Like, we care about diversity, we care about people, so therefore it's okay to turn comic books into propaganda outlets. There's a big difference between being a bigot and being not stupid enough to buy just propaganda pamphlets.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like the best way to put it. Like they like to say, the Comicsgate guys are bigots and this, that, and the other. Well, here's the thing. We are accepting of anyone. Most of us, like, prime example. Okay, I guess Avid blocked Sketch, which don't know what he blocked him for. Like he might have said something that I missed that Avid caught. Now, for the most part, we just let Sketch do his thing because I may not necessarily always like it when he takes things personally, but I understand. You know what I mean? I've had that moment, and he knows. Like, we don't always. Well, someone blocked him. I don't know. Maybe I didn't see him get blocked. So, working on that Sketch, not sure. But basically, the point I'm making is the fact that when these individuals try to say, "Oh, we're bigots and whatnot," we're not. We have, for instance, Puerto Rican and Sketch. We have females. We have prime example, just some guy is black. You know what I mean? I'm bad at names. So things like Nogo, Matogo, or something like that.
White Cap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's got to be no go. It's got to be no go to Mogo because it's
Thank
the
you.
planet. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like his name. I think that's pretty clever, actually. Just as a DC fan, I was like, that's funny. I like that.
Yeah.
No go to Mogo, like that. That's clever.
Uh,
There's tons of them. There's tons of them though, but I don't like getting into the shield thing. Like, I don't need to be like, this
well,
group
it's
I'm
not-
in has
It's not the
nor
shield. I'm
to
not.
justify it.
Oh, I know. I'm not trying to do it as a shield. I'm doing it to make a point. We are accepting
Yeah.
of everybody. We are accepting of everybody.
Oh, okay, yeah, true.
Like, we don't care. All right, we are accepting of everybody. That's the point. And it's really their side that advocates for racism and segregation and things of the such. Prime example, you have Harvard and the ACLU saying it's okay to discriminate against Asians and make it to where they have to score higher on the SATs in order to get into these prestigious colleges, i.e. Harvard and whatnot. So basically, you have one side that is known, and let's be honest, Democrats, for historically the ones who supported the KKK, things of the such, it's their side that does it, not our side.
They're making the check boxes, and I think like when we do have, for example, you remember when the Comicsgate girl Ava came into the scene. Every time something like that happens, there's a whole lot of cognitive dissonance. And man, on Twitter, the anti-Comicsgate side was vicious, especially vicious to her. Which, I mean, it didn't surprise me, but it was just so fast. Like, when I got into it, people are nasty to me too, but it's definitely different.
Oh yeah. Like, for me, it's when you look at them and you look at everything that they do. Prime example, Renfamous made the threat of doxing people, and then she pretty much doxed someone who donated to DNC's GoFundMe.
Yeah. And see, I was having this debate with her on Twitter, and she kept saying, well, it's public information. It was only 2 clicks away. But it doesn't matter how easy it is to dox somebody, how much effort you have to put in.
It's the fact that you did it.
Right. Yeah, you put it out there before your hordes of crazies. Of course somebody's going to investigate, or they think they're investigating. Of course they're going to do that.
And you also have the fact that she made a threat. I even did a video about it, because thing you should understand, my channel, I do a lot of comic books, but I also do a lot of news and politics. So
yeah,
it's kind of one of those.
It's kind of an interesting merge. I'm very similar. I've tried to unite them whenever I can, because they're both of interest to me. But it is kind of surprising to me, actually, how well they do work together, just because politics and entertainment, they're getting more and more blurred together.
Well, it's not just the fact that they're getting blurred together. It's the fact that you have a situation where basically we cannot get away from politics because of the fact that people make politics everything. Like, prime example, back in the day, like we're talking early Occupy days, Occupy Wall Street days and whatnot, you could sit down and have a political conversation with someone and then you know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Things have changed for sure. Was that around 2008 probably, right? It's when that kind of stuff it started, when the economy went downhill.
Yeah. 2009, 10. Yeah. 8, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Recession time, basically, during the recession. Well, that was such a pointless movement, though. Like, let's all go to the park and act like the people up in the tall buildings actually give a shit, And after 6 months, when they get tired of us, they'll have the police beat us up and move us out of here. Like, it was such ass backwards. Like, I've never understood that. Like, protesting, but not actually, like, pragmatically doing something. Like, they could have all written their senators or something. Like, it was just like, what the fuck? Go camp out in the park? Like, so stupid.
Well, and it wasn't a burden for the corporations. It wasn't a burden for even the federal
Yeah,
government.
boycott them or something. Like,
Yeah,
be
it
more
was
pragmatic. Like, do
Yeah.
something that's gonna get their attention and hurt them and make them care. Like,
right.
I mean, I sympathized with a lot of like, wages need to be better and there's too much inflation and stuff, but going about it in just such an ass backwards way, I was like,
Oh no,
Yeah.
no, I completely agree. But the thing is one, I agree that there could have been a better way of handling it. But the thing is the whole point about Occupy Wall Street is that was the birth of what became the alt left.
Yeah, radicalization really. That's when it became mainstream. I could see that for sure.
1 second before I continue. Before we continue, Sketch. I don't know why you're banned. Like, none of us know who banned you. Like, banned your Sketch Therapy one. Like, I've been looking. It shows you posting as Sketch, and then you switch to Puerto Rican Jeremy. No one has banned you. Like, I don't know. I literally don't know why you all of a sudden got banned. This could very well be a YouTube doing what YouTube does.
yeah. I mean, if no one's banning the account you're spurging out on, then just spurg on that one and you'll right. Like, it's fine. I mean, if they aren't blocking that.
Like, I don't know, like, because you know how it'd say, especially being the fact that it's my stream, it'd tell me who blocked someone. And it literally doesn't show anyone blocking him. It's 1 minute he's talking, next minute he's not. So,
I don't know.
Yeah. Like, no. No, it would show who blocked you. That's what the point we're making. I think it's YouTube, man. Like, straight up, not even gonna lie. It's YouTube. So that's what YouTube likes to do. But, not to get back onto the conversation at hand. Like, mentioned Mark Wade and Richard Mayer's GoFundMe's, right?
Oh yeah.
Figured I'd pop this up real quick, see where they were at.
Yeah.
Mark Wade, 80,354. Richard Mayer, 111,965.
Oh, and that's without having a Twitter.
Mm-hmm. I still find it funny that Mark Wade blocked me.
I just got blocked by good old Chuck a couple days ago.
Wendig?
Yes.
Nice.
I made one retweet. I retweeted one thing that he said, and he blocked me.
Yeah, some of them are pretty sensitive about that. So
Yeah. Like, no, what's funny is a buddy of mine, basically my little brother. Let's just be honest. I mentioned him before, the far left ideologue. When I mentioned, like, last time him and I talked, and I was trying to keep it off of politics. I really was. Because I did not want to.
Was this Thanksgiving dinner?
Well, the point I was going to make is I mentioned what happened with Chuck Wendig and how, well, what do you expect? This is one of the many reasons why CG exists, professionalism in comics, so on and so forth. He's like, that's not what happened. He had his contract. I know Chuck. A lot of these stuff going on. It's like, dude, you can know Chuck, but doesn't mean he's being honest with you about his contract. Everyone makes themselves look like, especially in that situation when they get fired for something they did. Yeah, two types of people. People who own it, and they're like, yeah, I totally did what I did. I knew better. My fault. Okay? Adults. Then you have people like Chuck Wendig who, it wasn't my fault. I was on my time, on my Twitter. I don't know what you're getting all upset about.
In any other industry, if you're talking down to your customers, your boss is not going to be okay with that.
Yeah. It's literally one of those. When I was waiting tables. I couldn't be an asshole to my customer. I couldn't tell them no, they're wrong, or they just want this because they're a bigot or this, that, and the other. You know what I mean?
Right.
I would be fired in a heartbeat.
Yeah, that's the thing. Imagine, yeah, exactly. Any service industry job, really any job, the customer always comes first. So I don't understand. And like how they flipped out on Alterna for having the most like mild social media policy, like, hey, maybe don't insult our customers, but if you really feel like you have to block them individually, it's okay. Oh my God, Alterna, they don't support free speech and all this shit. It's just like, dude.
Yeah, no. That's why I stand by Peter Simonetti, dude. When they dogpiled on him, man, they dogpiled him, one of the nicest guys in the community. It's like, dude, when I first started doing comic books, we're talking, I'd only done I was still heavy doing news and politics, and only done one, maybe two videos where I talked about comic books. Peter Simonetti followed me. That's the type of guy he is. If you even remotely talks politics, he's going to follow you. Or not politics, but comic books. Sorry.
You got politics on the brain.
Always, dude. Always.
He is a good guy, though. I just ordered a bunch of Alterna. Well, a bunch for me. It was like 9 books. Let me see. Tinseltown, Midnight Mystery, Eden, Go West, Zero Jumper. What is this other one? Exilium or something? This new one?
Oh, nice. I don't know. All I know is, I'm proud of the books I got. I need to finish. And I gotta show this off.
Yeah, you're into Wicked Righteous, right?
Oh, good book. But then again, it caught my interest. I've yet. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, pretty much all their titles looked like interesting. When I was on their Etsy store, I was kind of like, there aren't too many that I would skip, honestly. Some of them were sold out.
Oh yeah, no, I ordered Mother Russia issue 1, and I ended up at 2.
Nice. Oh yeah, I think I had that. With Zero Jumper.
Yeah.
I tried to order 1 and 2, and I think they're going to send me 2 and 4, but it's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. I know exactly what happened.
They cost $1, so I'm not going to complain.
Hey, there you go, Sketch. You're back up. I don't know what caused him to not be able to post. That really does bother me, because I know none of the mods did that. So
yeah,
no, I'm actually with you on this one, Sketch. None of us were we didn't block you. We don't know what blocked you. But just testing accounts. Okay, do what you got to do, man. But no, what I was about to show off was come on, camera. Booyah! Look at that shit, dude. And even signed by Josh Howard.
That's awesome. When did you get that?
We had a live stream where he was doing contests and everything, and I won it.
Nice.
When I get the opportunity, Sketch, I will go through and see what all accounts are blocked. There shouldn't be any, but I will. If there are any, I'll take care of it. But yeah, no. And I asked him to sign it for me and everything, and he did. I was like, "Yeah, buddy, it's eventually going to go up with the comic books and everything." But I'm trying to figure out a better way of putting the comic books up, because the previous owners of the house, the wall looks like drywall. It's not. It's basically a thin layer of spackle over, basically, paneling. There we go. I knew the word would come to me. So, tacks don't hold very well on the wall. I also have all my Alterna books up there.
You could get a large picture frame for like a poster with glass or plastic, whatever, over it, and then you could probably put like 6 or I don't know,
Right.
4 or 5 or 6 comics in there if you arranged them. I don't know if
Right.
that would be good for them or not, but it's just an idea.
No, I'm looking forward to having them all on display, though. I think that'd be awesome. Like, especially get rid of this Halo Uprising, which I was all happy to find my issue 1 of Halo Uprising and whatnot, because I'm like, yeah, Halo fan, this, that, and the other. And then I find out Bendis was the writer. It's like, you motherfucker. It's like, go full Bob Jones. Listen here, Bendis, you may be a reticuloid spy, but I will give you this. You at least did one thing right. Goddamn broken clock.
Well, Bendis.
But no, the only reason why I checked out originally The Wicked Righteous was because of the fact that Terry Mayo, the writer-creator of it, was going to be on Meeting of the Mind. So I got issue 6, which is the one that's still up. It was actually the first one that was my first Alterna book. Now I have a handful. Oh, Corkboard and that does sound like a good idea. And later later Avid. Like, thanks for popping in. Glad to see you. But basically, the premise is pretty solid. Like, especially if you've done any studying in religion. So it's definitely worth a check out. And then, of course, Mr. Crypt. I cannot suggest that enough. Like, I really can't. Like, it is.
Hey, Mr. Crypt, is that good for kids? Do you think my son would dig it?
Oh yeah,
Does he-
yeah. It is totally kid friendly.
Nice.
Kid friendly.
Was that one with the bear and mouse or something?
Yeah, that's Mr. Crypt.
Oh, is it? Okay. That's why I thought of that.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I didn't get any of the kid ones, but I saw they had some that looked like kid titles. That's good. They have those.
Oh,
DC honestly needs to get out. Like there's a few. We got DC superhero girls and stuff, but I think they need to make them cheap and gear them towards kids. At least like one line of books. Like Alterna is doing. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry. Yeah, no, I agree. I've got kids, and I've had a really hard time actually finding just comics. Like I even just like, hey, let's go to the comic shop and we'll just get a single free. There's none. There's like nothing.
The pricing is one reason, I think.
Oh yeah.
They're kind of out of the kids' price range, so it's like, why even appeal to the kid market? Forgetting, of course, parents buy comics, but also a lot of people our age and older got into comics when they were children because they were cheap and accessible and all over the place. So I think we need to get back into that. Like, people always talk about the culture war causing the decline in comics, and I think that's a part of it. But I also think it mostly has to do with just lack of accessibility and pricing and just not even like marketing to kids.
Oh yeah. And like I remember when I was a kid, like before I even knew how to read, my parents were buying me comics because that was, you know what I mean? That was what you did. You bought your son's comic. But mind you, this is back in the 80s and whatnot. And I kind of feel like with the way comics have gotten, I wouldn't feel comfortable buying like a Superman comic for my kids if I had any. But you get the idea, the point.
Yeah, I mean, they don't. It seems like they don't care about getting new readers in. Even let's say, so the kids are a problem, but then there's also just, let's say like an adult or teenagers or anything like that. It's really hard to know, like, well, where do you start? You like Spider-Man, you want to read Spider-Man. So you get maybe the Spider-Verse trade or something. And it's confusing because you have to go read. Oh wait, now there's a footnote. I have to go read to this story. I realize they've got a lot of continuity they need to match together. But for a new reader, it's really off-putting.
Oh, definitely. And let's be honest, when you're trying to, like, especially in the case of like Marvel and DC, when you have years of just, I guess you could say, years of fans that have just grown up reading these comics, and I'm not talking, just those of us in our lifetime. I'm talking the ones that came before us, like all of us fans. How many combined years of readership that a lot of these characters have, and you decided to completely change them? Completely.
Right. Yeah. I was actually yesterday explaining this to my wife. She doesn't read comics. I've tried many times to get her to read some, but yeah, I was explaining like what Comicsgate is about and why there are issues and why people are pushing back. And when you explain it, like, it's the same story, really. You've got the same story that continued, and now suddenly everything has changed. The character that they've spent all that time developing, that's the reason why you enjoy that title, is because of that character. Now that character is not there, or that character has changed so much, or whatever. Essentially, it's not the same story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's my biggest issue with Bendis, is he's changing all this Superman lore left and right, just willy-nilly.
Definitely. Hey, Tristan.
She made it.
Yeah, she's in the chat. Sent you a link. If you're free, feel free to join. All right. But no, Bendis is also like, this is basically what happened. And it's kind of, I guess you could say, ties into like politics and things like that. You have these individuals who are who don't have kids. Now, I'm not saying I have room to talk, because I don't either. We have a bunch of people who don't have kids trying to act like they know what kids want today, and this, that, and the other, or they know what's best for kids, and this, that, and the other. You don't have kids. How would you know?
Yeah, it's like even not having kids, it's like they don't remember what it was like to be a kid, even.
Right. It almost seems to me like they're just trying to appeal to the stereotype of a millennial. It's not even like, we're really targeting the market. They're appealing to a stereotype that obviously it's not working for anybody. Nobody wants to really read it.
Yeah, it's a problem. Well, you got people in their 50s and 60s trying to write Teen Titans. It's going to be not always going to work so good.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, well, first off, no worries, Tristan. The invite was there in case you wanted to join. But sorry. But the point I'm making is it's not just that. It's the fact that when you don't have kids, or you're not around kids. Like, how many? If Bendis had like nephews or something, you know what I mean? I think, sup, Bean? But I think if like Bendis had nephews that he spent time around, or any type of family member that had kids that he spent time around, just cousins, whatever, I think he'd have a better understanding. Oh, okay. Kids don't want to hear about my gender identity. They don't want to hear about this. They don't want to hear about that. They want to just read comic books that are fun. Oh my goodness, it's such a shocker.
And for kids, it's not. I mean, it's not rocket science. I was just earlier today reading with my son. He's 7, and so I have to sit with him every day and practice reading. We were reading the Boxcar Kids. We got it from the library, and they say it's a graphic novel. It's really just it's shaped totally different, but there's just a little bit of mystery in there. And to me, it didn't appeal to me whatsoever, but he enjoyed it because there was a mystery he was trying to figure out. And I'm thinking, man, you would love Batman if they marketed it towards you, made it at your reading level,
Well, see, that was the beautiful thing of Super Sons before they had to cancel it to make room for Bendis to ruin everything. Was you had, Robin, Damian Wayne, and Superman running around, having adventures. It was like the book you would recommend. I would always recommend, like, oh, you have a boy. It's like 7 or 10 or 12 or whatever. Here you go. It's two boys, one who's super powered and one who's just awesome, and they have adventures. Like, it was really good and endearing. And like, I only have the first issue, but it would tie in like the parent relationship too, like Superman, like legit being a father, and Lois being a mom, and it was just like really wholesome, like good stuff.
Mm-hmm. The things that comics was known for the longest time. And that's the only reason why the whole them scrapping Super Sons for Bendis that really just burns me up. The reason why I should say that burns me up so much is the fact that, like, Super Sons, just DC Rebirth in general was proof that comics, like, DC understood their fans and they weren't pushing, sup, Jim? But wasn't pushing politics. They understood that their fans just wanted to read their comics, have their, superhero fun time, and then go about their day. Not be sitting there being preached at for not being virtuous enough or this, that, and the other.
Yeah, it's almost like they're trying to make, like, there's a new value system and they're trying to undo just the old timey, just basic universal values with progressive ones that they want all children to learn. Like, I don't know, I hate the feeling, like, you look at it and it just seems like they feel the responsibility to teach my children a value system.
Well, one, comic books when we were a kid did teach us that. That's the thing. When we were kids, like,
right.
I was born in '83, and back in '83, all the way up until, once again, this past, I'd say about 8 years, like 6 to 8 years is when they started really doing this, but it didn't really get bad until about 4 years ago. Like, all the shit that they're pulling in comics. But when I was a kid, comic books taught morals. Comic books, especially, like, because of the fact that you had the Comics Code Authority, you had rules that comic books had to stand by in order to get that seal. And I swear, I wish they would bring the Comics Code Authority back. I really do.
Or even, I don't know, I've thought about this before, rating system. Like, to me, I'm okay in general if there are political comics, or you want to take risks. I mean, a lot of Image books or no holds bar,
DC Comics has a rating system, actually.
Right.
If you look, like, by the barcode, the direct sales, like this issue of Justice League says rated teen.
Yes,
right.
but
I think Marvel does too, but the political, like, ideology stuff is
in all of
like
them.
immune. Yeah, it's immune from the rating system. I don't know. I'm like, I wouldn't want my kids to be reading Squirrel Girl. Some of the confusing stuff about gender, and, like, they're just trying to make up this
the rating
scientific stuff.
The rating system doesn't really encompass that kind of thing, huh? The more ideological stuff.
And that's
they're worried about Emma Frost looking too cute, but meanwhile they aren't worrying about all the messages in the book.
Exactly.
Right.
No,
which is ironic too. Yeah. When we had the Comics Code Authority, you could have, like, really suggestive, stuff still, but now there's a big backlash against that.
Yeah. Well,
the art.
Well, it's not just that. It's the fact that back in the day, when, once again, the Comics Code Authority was there were literal rules that you had to follow. The good guys had to win. Like, justice had to be served. No drug use, no alcohol use, no, you could have some sexualization, but it's not, like, you could have characters sexualized, but it wasn't graphic. It was suggestive, not up in your face. I think it's the best way to put it.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, yeah, as we've been talking, when did it start to change so much? And to me, I was thinking back to, I always say his name wrong, but Michael Straczynski, his run on Spider-Man, uh, before Brand New Day, and man, I loved those books. I followed that whole run up until they destroyed everything, and there's no politics. It's all just storytelling, and there were bits I didn't like, some things like story decisions I didn't care for, but they take risks within storytelling. But yeah, I don't know. I now I think like, man, I read Dan Slott stuff, and it just brings me no joy.
Well, and that's the whole point, is the fact that comic books used to be all about, just bringing joy into your life. Even if it was just a silly superhero comic, like prime example, Silver Age Superman, where it was very campy, the the old Batman television show with Adam West.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's just the fact that what we have now amongst the comic book creators, where we had people who were, as bad as it sounds, they were, I guess you could say they were actual artists is the best way to put it. Like, you have the quote unquote artists today. Oh, Gorgon Knight Emissary. Nice. Sorry, I saw that and was like, what? I was wondering where you'd been. But no, you just had like Silver Age Superman campy, the Batman TV show campy. Now everything went dark, gritty, and hyper. Like, and I like the dark and gritty. Don't get me wrong, always been my thing. Always have liked it, but it made sense the way it was done compared to how it's done now, where it seems like it's dark and gritty just to be dark and gritty.
Yeah, dark and gritty doesn't work for everything.
No.
Right? Yeah.
That goes back to there not being, material produced for children specifically.
Mm-hmm.
They're just focused on adults because that's who can afford to buy their books.
Yeah, and
the really interesting thing about it is the last month on Comic-Con, if you look at it, they made a ton of money. The profits are up, but the unit sales are down. They continuously sell less books and yet still make more money. So the amount they charge is just, continually more. Like, they used to sell way more issues and made less dollars.
No, and that's exactly the problem that a lot of fans are starting to have, is the fact that they used to, like you said, they used to sell more issues and make less money because of the fact that they weren't gouging the fans by making them pay for the fact that they're shitty writers and artists and everything. You know what I mean? The run of all the fans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're turning themselves into a really small boutique sort of business, where, I mean, comics used to be so much more mainstream. I wish there would be more of that mindset, but it seems like they're just gonna leverage whatever books they can put out to get as much money as they can, and that is just selling to fewer and fewer people.
Yeah, and that's the problem. We're getting tired of that. We want good stories. We would have no problem paying these prices if we were getting books that were worth that much money. But when we are basically paying for, as bad as it sounds, we're paying for basically toilet paper. I'm not even going to try to be nice about it. We're paying for toilet paper. That's all that's all it really is. And
Except it's too glossy.
Yeah.
You can't even use it as toilet paper.
Right.
You
And
can't burn it. You would probably die from the chemicals.
Right. And Gorgonite, don't I understand? It Dragon Age has consumed many a life. I think several panelists on here has been consumed by that game on several occasions themselves. Dragon Age Origins.
Yeah, some of the paper's okay, like on Doomsday Clock and stuff, but I don't know. A lot of the issues are really, really glossy, more like a magazine paper, I think.
Yeah, my whole thought, when it comes to the higher quality papers, like, yeah, it's nice and all, but we were happy with newsprint. You could still be using newsprint, and we would still be buying your books as long as they were good. Case in point.
Oh, what kills me about it. Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, case in point, Alterna. Good books. They're on newsprint. People buy them. Not that hard to.
Yeah.
But,
and
yeah, and that goes to what I was going to say too, is I have newsprint comics that have just been sitting on the shelf since I was a little kid. And, they aren't sun-faded because they're covered by other books and stuff, but because it's newsprint, like, it hasn't warped or anything. Whereas a lot of the newer books, if I don't keep them in their sleeves, they just suck up the moisture and warp.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's an issue I have.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that go ahead and print something if you want to make a collector's edition or something. Graphic novels, trade paperbacks are awesome. You can have it in different formats, but the format that's neglected is, the cheap, easy to access version of it.
Yeah. Well, my whole point was the fact that it goes back to the point we were making earlier, where it's like the comic books back in the day, because they were, I guess you could say, they were more reasonably priced, you were willing to buy them. Like, for kids and things like that.
Yeah, you're happy to take a risk on something. I don't know. To me, I feel I have to be so choosy with what comics I'm buying because it adds up. It's expensive. Yep. So I want to make sure I'm not wasting it on something silly.
And
that hurts the unit sales too. You go in there and you're like, oh, I have $20, so I can buy like 3-4 comics. Like, what? It shouldn't be that way.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But there's a whole lot of problems. It's like Diamond being a monopoly. They only have one distribution system for the whole medium. So, of course, that's going to eat up a lot of costs. And it's just, it's not the best system.
Oh, no. I completely agree. Like, I don't know. I guess the way I'm starting to look at it is there's a lot of problems in the industry that could be fixed if, quite frankly, the corporations would stop listening to the ideologues amongst them and start listening to the fans who've been saying this whole time. It's like, when you have people who are, left, center, and right, they're just not on the extreme left, saying, no, these comic books suck. I'm not willing to, shell out money for this. And you, instead of just going, oh, my bad, let me fix this. But instead of doing that, you go, oh, you're just a bigot. Oh, whatever. Oh, as Tugwood put it, my fifis. It's like, you motherfuckers, dude. This is, you don't even, you're killing your own industry and you don't even care. You're running off your customers. You don't even care. And the customers that do care and been trying to help save your industry, you've been talking down to and treating like shit because of the fact that they practice quote unquote wrong think.
Yeah.
So I hate to dip out, guys. I have to go, but I really appreciate being invited and yeah, it's been good talking to you guys.
Oh, definitely. Like, sorry, I've been the whole bit with the war campaign and finding out about that just kind of killed my thunder, so I'm not my usual chipper self today.
Good conversation. So yeah, I really appreciate it.
Nice to meet you, Sweetcast.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks, guys.
Hope to have you on again sometime.
Definitely. Yeah, let's do it.
I'll see you.
Word. All right. So y'all want to keep going for a little bit longer, or do y'all want to
Sure.
call it quits there?
Yeah.
It's up to you,
Either
Bob.
way, it's fine.
Because if you want to keep going,
Yes.
I'll pull Jim in. Jim's always down to be in a meeting of the minds. Send him the link now.
All right.
Because, you know.
So I saw on Sporkman's stream yesterday they had the Charger, that book. They had the artist and writer, right? Ninja.
Yeah, it was
Or, yeah, I think-
fantastic. Yeah, it was.
Speaking
I was gonna
of,
drop
That's so
a link
cool.
all night.
thanks for filling in. Since I've been basically long story short, homegirl of mine is getting really serious about getting her mobility back and everything.
Uh-huh.
And I've been being the hype guy and been helping out the best I can over there. That's why I haven't really been on. So definitely thank you for filling in for me there, Ninja.
Oh, it's all good. Try to
Yeah.
support my community as best I can.
Hey, I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
So Troy is doing all the art on that, or was it just the cover?
yeah.
I came in kind of.
He's going to be doing all the interior work. They're bringing in a colorist and a word bubbler.
Wow.
So yeah, it's going to
That's
be
so
pretty
cool.
good. It looks the story that Wes was going through and the characters and stuff like that. They're really good. Like it fits.
That's cool.
Like
It strikes me as like an old. I guess you could say it strikes me that it has almost like a Static Shock feel. Does that make sense?
Well,
a
yeah.
little
Well,
bit, like-
I asked him if he'd fit, if it was like a DC character, like if he'd fit in the DC universe, and that was kind of what he was thinking initially.
Word. And what's up, Jim?
Hello.
What's
Yeah.
happening?
I'm just over here bitching my day away at Amazon.
That doesn't surprise me. Speaking of Amazon, did you hear that they are refusing to sell Pinochet t-shirts because of his
Mhm.
treatment of communists, but they are more than willing to sell like Stalin, Mao, Che Guevara, all those shirts, all of whom were just as bad as people, but because they practice the same ideology, Amazon is. I'm just like, really, Jeff Bezos, you are a multi-billionaire, and you're,
Wait, did you say they're selling Mao Zedong t-shirts?
the Chairman Mao.
Chairman Mao, for real?
Yes, you
That's
can
fucked
buy.
up.
What's up, Kenneth? You can buy those T-shirts, but you can't buy Pinochet T-shirts, all because he killed communists. It's like, really?
Whatever.
You know who else killed communists is Scarface. So just buy yourself a Scarface shirt. Be good.
Right.
Good to go.
That's right. He kills a communist for fun.
I totally
Yeah.
forgot about that movie. I've only seen it once, actually.
That's the best part
Oh,
about
man.
Scarface, that he hates communism.
Yeah, right. He does. He goes off on it so many times. I just watched a clip of it on YouTube. It was like yesterday where it's like a highlight reel of all his little rants about communism. And he's like, for communists, I kill him for free. It's like, okay. Pretty badass.
Hey, nothing
I
wrong
cut
with
him
that.
up real nice. No, Scarface is pretty hardcore. Well, see, because he lived under one of those regimes. That's why he's so passionate
Yup.
about it. It's
Well,
first-hand experience.
and that's one of the things that I always thought was fairly comical about like these 19-year-olds who think they know what communism is all about and how shitty it was. And it's like they come to someone who's from Cuba, lived under it most of his life, finally got free, got to America, finally is living the American dream. It's like communism was horrible. I hated living under it. It was the worst thing that could have ever been happened to anyone, la da 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 da. Well, actually, motherfucker, what the fuck you know about living under communism? You know what I
The
mean?
people that come here from Cuba are usually extremely anti-communist.
Mm-hmm. Like I don't.
But you know, first-hand experience probably makes a big difference.
Right? It's why when you see these individuals, like, okay, I have this one chick I've known since junior high, all right? I would say she was a friend, but it's more of acquaintance. Let's just be honest. And she's from, like, straight up from Russia. Was, like,
Uh-huh.
lived there at the tail end of the Cold War. And the thing to this day that bothers me about her is you could tell she was young enough to forget the lessons that she should have been taught under. You know what I mean?
My ex-wife was lived in Soviet Russia. That's I still remember the stories that she tells me, or that she told me.
Wow.
Like when the Soviet Union fell and they were in Tajik, and the government Soviet government collapsed, and they were given, I think it was like 2 or 4 hours to evacuate. And when they were boarding the plane, the airport was being bombed by Tajiks.
Wow.
Yeah. Nothing says get the fuck out of our country like being bombed.
Yeah. Pretty much. I don't know. I wish people would understand that you could have a noble idea, but it just be a bad idea to implement. Like, right, I like this Gorgonite. But at a Nerd Over 30, all those times weren't, in quotations, real communist socialist utopias. We'll get it right this time. What's another million or so lives? It's like, yeah, pretty much. And you know, my whole thought is like I stated, you know, it's a wonderful idea. Everyone truly being equal and so on and so forth. But let's be honest, as I've pointed out, and the only way it'll ever work is through replicator technology. We can't be a resource driven society, because as long as resources are finite,
well,
you're always
eliminate resource scarcity, and then you don't have to worry about competition for resources. So
exactly.
That's what I was going to say. You play Supreme Commander, so there's infinite resources. Just, you know, get your mass and energy converters and you'll be good.
But pretty much. But you still need to get down with me and my boy on that, dude. We need a third guy. So we can kick.
No, Supreme Commander's too much for me. I'll play Age of Empires, though, if you want.
Oh, come on, dude. Supreme Commander is an awesome game. Especially Supreme Commander 2 with the... Oh, what's the name of the
most freaking Supreme Commander is the most RTS to ever RTS. It's like for people that StarCraft isn't RTS enough, they're like, man, this StarCraft's pretty good, but what if it was like 100 times harder and more like tweaked out?
And really, it's not that hard if you know how to play it. Like
maybe if someone explained what to do. It's just like there's so many choices too. Like each unit you have has like it can do multiple things. It doesn't just move or attack or stand ground or whatever. It's like it could build a building. It could build a building or help someone else build a building or go attack or morph into something bigger. And it's just like, what the fuck do I do? Like, and by the time I decide, I'm already way behind.
Oh no, dude. That's why the more you play, you start to get I guess you could say an idea of what works for you and your way of playing. Like if I'm playing standard or the 2013 mod,
Forged Alliance.
I have Forged Alliance. Forged Alliance is great. Like on that one, I'll even do I mainly, if I'm playing EDF, I'll stick to artillery with good defense. Like, because having that ability to just reach out and touch someone, no one's going to last heavy artillery barrage for too long, especially with the dickness that the EDS has in the line of artillery. And then you have the what is it, the UAF or something like that? The
I don't know. I know there's 3 factions.
yeah, the EUD, the Cybran, and the third one, which I can't remember the name of that faction, but they basically have the third faction that I can't remember. They have a tower that you construct and everything that is a conversion cannon. So I shit you not, you'll be literally converting units. Like, you set up a whole line of these with like good turrets for defense and everything, and you just convert, and then you just start building these up and convert entire enemy bases into yours.
Oh man, Red Alert 2, when they introduced Yuri, like in the expansion, did you play that? And it introduced all that mind control shit. That's what that sounds like.
Oh wow.
Like, that is really overpowered, I think. Yeah, because the whole faction, because there's the Soviets and the Americans or whatever, the Allies and the Russians, but then they added another Russian faction and they had all kinds of mind control stuff.
No, you're making me want to install 3 because I have
3,
Red Alert.
yeah, you also have 3 factions on that one.
Yeah, Red Alert, dude. All I have to say is fucking Japan in Red Alert 3. Oh my god.
You like them or don't like them?
They are OP as fuck, dude. Build a few mechas. Yeah, dude. In Red Alert 3, you build a few mechas and throw them in. It's like, oh my goodness.
See, I never got down with their building style. Like, their worker turns into a building, right? Like a Zerg kind of build. Yeah, see, I tried that and I was kind of like, I'll just be Soviets and make tanks and run people over. Like,
well, like
GG, easy.
Oh yeah, but like, okay, so the thing you gotta understand about Japan in this, or the Empire, is the fact that their units, like, you'll have aquatic tanks, flying tanks, mecha, this, that, and the other, like all the gangster shit that just break the game they gave Japan. Yeah, Russia's got tanks. Yeah, America has air superiority. But I'm just saying, Japan breaks the game.
Japan what?
Believe it.
Japan what?
Breaks the game. We're talking about Red Alert 3.
Oh, okay. All right. Thought you were talking about real life.
Yeah, George.
I was going to have a discussion.
George Takei is their leader, like, legitimately.
Yeah.
He's trying to take over the world. And when the Allies and the Soviets were fighting, that's when he makes his move and attacks both. So Tim Curry and who else?
Like in his last role, no less.
Yeah. And Jenna McCarthy is in that too.
I think well, the chick, what's her name? Gina Carrero is in that as well.
Jenna McCarthy, beautiful.
Did you get the poster? Right. Oh, they made a poster that came with that game. It was like a pinup poster with all the ladies in it. Oh man. 2007 was a good year.
Dude, all I gotta say is, and may I say, like, any man who says that a woman who is proper Amazonian is not sexy, you can get the hell out now. I love me, like, Gina Carrera, I think I'm saying her name right, Carrera. Like, her levels, like, how she's got all the muscle and everything, but still looks feminine.
Gina Carano.
Yeah.
Thank you. But, like, I always found that attractive. But not like China. Like, no. Like, that was...
like the Darwin Cook Wonder Woman, who's like a literal giant.
What did you think of the idea of having Gina Carano be Wonder Woman instead of Gal Gadot?
Ooh. She had like the build. She could have pulled it off. Like,
No one can replace Gal Gadot. She is the real
Yeah,
Wonder
no,
Woman.
no one can do it now that I have her tattooed on my body. No.
all right.
Do you?
No.
That's cool.
Like, no, I give Gal Gadot full credit. She did a really good job. Like,
You know, someone was giving me shit on, well, a different social media site because she's Jewish. And I posted about Wonder Woman, and they're like, you know, she's Israeli and all
Do you
this.
love
And I'm
her?
just like, I do not. I don't care.
yeah. Oh.
Whatever.
Right? Like, yeah, they went off on this whole like anti-Semitic thing, and I was just like, dude, what? That it wasn't even like the live action Wonder Woman I posted. It was a comic one, so it wasn't even like related to her directly. They're just like triggered, I guess.
Wow. All right. That's one thing I have no patience for is, you know, any type of racism, and I classify that as exactly that. It's a form of racism. It's like, look, dude, all right, how do I explain this? Am I going to sit there and lie and say that Israel doesn't have its faults? No, I'm not. But I'm also not going to sit there and say that just because Israel has its faults, that you get to be anti-Semitic. That, to me...
Yeah, or like certain actors can't be in movies or whatever. It's just weird.
Yeah, no, that to me is ridiculous. That's how I guess you could say extremism survives. That's how these various ideologies that have long since were almost dead. You know, I remember back in like junior high school, that, you know, even in elementary school, 80s and 90s, back when these ideologies that were detrimental to society were pretty much gone. And then all of a sudden, 2008 happens, the rise of the SJWs and the return of the various isms. Dun, dun, dun! I'm being
Pretty
very
much
sarcastic.
culture war.
Yeah.
This shit's finally made it to my state too, and I'm really, really disappointed. In the last week, there have been 2 articles in my state about the wage gap.
Oh my fucking god! How many times does that have to be proven to be false?
Well, not false, but exaggerated.
A misrepresentation of the situation.
Misrepresented.
Well, if it's misrepresented, that means it's false. If it was properly represented, then it would be factual. Like, you can sit there and say, okay, well, the there's this big conspiracy to keep women down. It's like, no, because if businesses could get away with paying women less, they would hire only women. No, what it is women go into different fields than men. They have different, you know, skill sets than men, so on and so forth. The reason why there's so many male CEOs versus so many female CEOs is men are more willing, on average, I'm not saying entirely, on average, to devote most of their time to work and so on and so forth, where women, on average, once again, not saying all of them, but on average, worry more about having things like a family and things like that. I'm not saying that the men don't worry about it, but they try to, for them, their work allows them to support their family and so on and so forth. You get the idea. It's not black and white. It's very complex, overly convoluted, very nuanced. And to sit there and just say my wage gap does nothing to actually address issues such as the fact that men and women are into different things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it even goes back to what kinds of, you know, fields you study. Like if you're taking art or something in school and then you get out and you can't find a job, or the job you get doesn't pay as much, that would be a reason for it.
Yeah.
Or even, you know, there's so many factors. How many women are in the workforce compared to how many men, how many hours each gender works. Like there's so much that they aren't reporting in that statistic.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you take everything and add it up, then yeah, technically the females make what 77% as much as the males, but it doesn't mean when you get hired that you're only getting 77% as much as your male counterpart for the same job necessarily.
Yeah, it's, you know, they don't, these tests tend to take into account like hours of overtime men are willing to work, things like that. And like I said, once again, I'm not saying there isn't women out there that do that. Shit,
Yeah, absolutely. Tons do.
the CG's very own Nerdette is a nurse, and you know
Yeah.
those ladies get worked. I'm just saying.
Too
Like-
much overtime. Like, I would never go into medicine, honestly. It sounds
Right?
brutal.
But that's the whole point, though. The fact that it's like, it's not, I guess you say, it's not rule of law, or rule of whatever. It's just how things are. It's not like I said, some grand conspiracy or anything like that. It's just interests, tastes, professions, things. You're like, why is more men willing to be politicians than women? Women tend to be very private creatures. Men tend to be very boisterous and very, like, women are outgoing, but they're private. Prime example: try to look into a woman's purse without her permission.
Try to look into a man's
I wouldn't
wallet
recommend it.
without his permission.
Yeah, same idea. I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah,
I will
but
smack the stubble off your face.
yes, but here's the thing. Me trying to look into your wallet, it's kind of, one, why would I be looking into your wallet?
Why would you be looking into a woman's purse?
Well, that's,
Because bitches be like, yo,
Bad
get this
example,
out of me
dude.
first.
Bad example.
Yeah, they are the same thing, I think, basically.
okay, then.
I
Well-
get
Carry
your
more
point.
stuff.
I get your point. But here's the thing. Women vote for men.
Oh, I'm not denying that.
So
I'm just saying-
you want more women in office? Great. They actually run for office. Vote them in.
Yeah.
Women in general absolutely have the ability to get more women into office.
So
But they
they're
don't.
Mhm.
They vote men into office.
exactly.
Yeah, they didn't help Hillary over the line. You know, if women
Well-
had voted for Hillary en masse, she would have won.
All right. Oh, give me a second. I need more coffee. So
Maybe because women actually stop
Coffee.
and think about voting and what the purpose of
Yeah,
what the
maybe they
meaning of the
vote on
vote
more
is.
than one issue.
Yeah, rather
than
than
gender.
saying I'm just going to vote along gender lines and ha 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 women
Yeah.
win.
Yeah, it's just like men. I mean, I think most of us would vote for a woman we agree with over a guy we don't agree with, right? Like humans, especially in a situation like that, are going to think it through beforehand. That's my experience. I mean, I've voted for females over males if I prefer their ideology. Like, I don't think people are so one-dimensional that they automatically identify with the person that looks the most like them.
Yeah,
Which is part of the problem we have with comic books too. It's like, well, they can't agree with Superman because he's white, or we need this and we need that, and it's just like, well, it worked for the last 70 years. I don't know.
yeah. I'm just I've found that all of this identity politics stuff that we talk about all the time here on YouTube and Twitter and all that wonderful stuff, most people have no clue. And
No,
I joke about this. The whole red pill, blue pill meme that's been around forever. I joke about how some days I wish I could go back and take the blue pill because
yeah,
I'm so tired of being quote unquote red pilled on everything. And I really wish I could go back to being stupid about most of the problems because
sounds like you've
sometimes
taken the
ignorance is bliss.
black pill.
What's that?
It sounds like you've taken the black pill.
Maybe I
You're just
guess.
nihilist.
No, I'm not nihilist. Um, I
Wow.
I I wish I could be ignorant to problems again because I'm tired of it.
It's exhausting. Like I don't watch the news most days.
I've stopped paying attention to most Twitter. I've stopped paying attention to most of YouTube. I haven't watched television in years.
Oh yeah,
and
TV is a dead medium.
and so and yet I still get all of it all of the time, and it just makes me sick. So maybe that is a black pill.
Michael
Yeah,
B.
sounds pretty black.
He says the main qualifier for anyone that he votes for is, can they pee standing up?
Yep, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, pee standing up.
That way though.
You got me. Yeah, well,
I know some women that will pee standing up. Now whether or not they make a mess of everything when they do it, that's a different story. But if that's your only qualifier, they will show you that they are willing to pee standing up.
Wow, just wow.
Hey, if that's what they got to do to win the race, you know, you gotta break some eggs to make an omelet.
sorry, I needed a laugh. That was pretty funny.
Yeah,
That's a good one. You can always count on the chat. The chat's got our back.
Yeah.
Thanks, chat. You guys are the greatest. Some of you.
I'm just wow. I'm kind of like I came back to some
That's what happens when you leave.
yeah. I realize this. I realize this. It's a wow. So
So that Fallout 76.
yeah, let's just wow. No, I'm still kind of.
Fallout.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm still kind of stuck on the whole the women peeing standing up. It's like, what? Why?
You don't want to think about that one.
It just reminds me of the Jeff Foxworthy joke back in the '90s, where he's talking about taking his whole family to Hawaii and how they were all doing redneck shit and like peeing for distance competition, which unfortunately his aunt something or other won.
Yeah.
All right. The second qualifier is for Michael Beacon. It's can they hit the target?
Okay.
There was that woman that went into the men's restroom at a baseball game and just like squatted right over the urinal.
Oh yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
Does that qualify as hitting a target?
Sometimes
it does qualify. It does qualify. Even if it is more technically a carpet bombing, it still qualifies.
Yeah. I guess they hit their target, right?
I couldn't resist.
Carpet bombing.
Hey,
Gosh, that's gross though. When they just have like the fucking trough. There's like,
Oh no,
you go in there and just
no.
see,
Yeah, if you,
it's
oh
like no.
no. Here, do one of those troughs wearing sandals.
Oh god. I'll just skip the whole baseball game.
Yeah, fuck that.
It's not worth it.
I'll pee in my empty soda cup.
You go in there, you're just like 15. Oh man, it sucks.
Yeah, and not
It
the
is
trough,
simple.
not the trough that's like knee high. I'm talking about the trough that's down on the ground.
What
you know?
the fuck?
Oh, ew.
And go in there in sandals and realize all of the pee that's getting all over your feet.
okay, you get
That's
see,
brutal.
and this is why I'm glad
Where did I take this?
I don't like playing fucking, or don't like going to sports games and things like that. I had the opportunity. Lived in Salt Lake City. Don't like basketball.
You know, I watched a Major League Baseball game once, and it was actually really fun to watch. But yeah, the bathroom was just like preposterous. I was just like, "Are you serious?"
Oh yeah.
It was like, "Is this a joke? Like, are you guys trolling me?" Like, I don't know. But yeah, it was pretty cool. What was it? It was the St. Louis. What do they have? The Cardinals, and they played the Brewers. It's pretty cool.
I've actually been in a bathroom where the urinal trough was a repurposed sink.
Yeah, I could see that.
You know,
Men's rooms, they just don't give a fuck.
No, because we don't give a fuck. We don't.
Yeah, they're you go in there and there's just a hole in the ground. You're like, okay,
Oh, Vietnam.
whatever.
All of East Asia, you go into the bathroom and there is nothing but a hole in the ground.
wow.
Nuh-uh. Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking gross.
It's like a drain, right?
No.
Is it a
No.
literal hole?
It's a literal hole in the ground.
Oh man.
Because you go over there and you don't sit on anything to shit. You squat.
Okay.
And
Huh.
real quick, I gotta. This is funny. All right, Garganite, talking about the whole Fallout 76. You mean Bethesda finally giving up on all pretense? It's like, yes. Can't wait for Skyrim 2 Electric Boogaloo. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, say Elder Scrolls 6. And
That's pretty
I'm
good.
looking forward to Elder Scrolls 6. To be honest, that's
Is it gonna be online again?
5 wasn't online. See, okay, ESO takes place like I think during the first or second, and you're in the 4th or 5th era in Skyrim.
Oh, so they've made their games excessively convoluted.
Kinda.
Timeline be damned.
Hey, we're not talking about Legend of Zelda, damn it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it worked for Zelda.
It really does.
Now that's convoluted.
Uh-huh. Like, I don't know. That's okay. I'll admit I'm one of those people who are torn between A Link to the Past or Ocarina of Time as the best Legend of Zelda.
I say the very first
No.
Legend of Zelda was probably the most playable for me.
On the Super
original
Nintendo?
NES. On original NES. The
The-
original Nintendo
Oh.
Entertainment Zelda. That was like looking back out of all the Zeldas, I don't want to play any of them except for maybe that one. I don't even really want to play that one. I don't know. Maybe I don't identify with elves very well.
You racist.
Oh man.
20 years ago. Ocarina of Time. 20 years.
Oh
God
shit,
damn.
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, N64 is old.
Yeah, it really
It's
is.
my favorite system, though.
20 years ago.
Yo. There's
so many good
last week, wasn't it? Yeah, 20 years ago last week.
For real. The best game for that
More-
system was those WWF ones.
Fuck
Like
that.
Oh,
guy.
come on.
WrestleMania
so
2000
many-
and GoldenEye. I'm
Yeah,
saying the
okay.
best wrestling games. You know, the best wrestling games definitely came out on that system.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Games
I'd say all
nowadays
the
don't
best.
hold a candle to that one.
I'm still standing.
The
by-
control scheme.
I never did play that. I
I
played like Royal Rumble on the Super Nintendo, but I never did play any on the 64.
See, no. Let's see. The 64 had some good games, like GoldenEye, one of the like greatest console first
many
person shooters ever for its time. Like,
Mhm.
and then but you got Ocarina of Time, Perfect Dark, another really good first person shooter.
Majora's Mask, too. You got
I-
two legendary Zelda games.
I didn't like. I completed Majora's Mask, but after like the 20th time you travel back the 3 days, it gets frustrating and old. Like, it was a cool
Yeah, I
mechanic.
can see that.
Yeah, it was a cool mechanic at first, but then by the time you get through to the end of the game, you're just like, all right, dude, I'm so sick and fucking tired of this. All right. I wish I could just play the game and not have to constantly go back in time. It's like, oh, I fucked up this dungeon. Let me go back in time because I don't have time now to complete it. Just
The
saying.
Mario games on there were good too.
Super Mario World, or well, on Super Nintendo it's good, but I'm talking, what is it? Super Mario 64.
Mario. Yeah.
That was
Hell yeah. Mario Kart, Smash Brothers, Star Fox, Donkey Kong.
Like-
Just tons of stuff.
just, and that's also what gave us the first Smash Brothers. Like,
Yep.
the funny thing is I was disappointed that we never got a Metroid. And I was even thinking, like, man, it would be awesome if they made a Metroid first-person
Samus
shooter.
is in there.
Well, yes.
Oh,
I'm talking like
But they did make a Metroid first-person shooter.
yes, but on the GameCube or for
Yeah.
the game. I was saying,
You can play it for the. You can put your GameCube games in the Wii. You know.
oh, I know. It's just that the sensor bar to my Wii is out in the living room with my parents' Wii because my mom's cat chewed up the cord to the sensor bar,
Oh, okay.
and the power supply to my Wii needs to be replaced because my dog got a hold of the power supply when she was a puppy and chewed through it. Like through the cord. So now it has no actual. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I have a modded Wii that's got like 200 games on it. It's freaking amazing.
Oh yeah, no, I remember you telling me about that. Well, what irritates me is I have on my Wii right now, I have Chrono Trigger. Like, and I've gotten several hours into that game on several occasions and have yet to beat that game. It's like Final Fantasy 6 and 7 and 8 all over again.
You know, the re-releases for the Resident Evils for GameCube were good. They were just kind of hard to play.
And never been a Resident Evil fan. Like, if
Yeah, that's
never-
okay. 4 was one of the best ones ever. If you get a
I
chance,
heard
it's
that.
not like the originals. It's got a whole new control scheme. It was so much better. And like if you can go back and play that one, I would suggest it. It's worth the playthrough.
I'd get it for PC,
There-
personally.
Yeah. Well, then do that.
they're
I know.
doing the remakes on those too.
That doesn't
The Resident Evils.
Let's see.
I know
think
they
that-
redid the first one.
Yeah, the first one, that was tough though.
Yeah. Yep.
It was like the
Resident
first. It was like the original Resident Evil, except for they put in some different new elements and stuff like that, and definitely, I mean, it was a beautiful game. Don't get me wrong, but it was hard.
All right.
Well, that's good. That's a good
No.
thing, I think.
All I gotta say is, see, that would be a good. Like, holy shit! Not even better if I had the $130 to blow on that. What all comes on it?
What are you looking at?
Steam, because I was seeing how much they charge for 4.
Uh-huh.
It's $20, but for
Oh, nice.
six, Revelations, all the DLCs for Revelations, 4, Revelations 2, and all the DLCs for Revelations 2, 5, and all the DLCs for 5, for $130, basically $126.93.
Organite Emissary says, killing super parasite infected Spaniards led by a midget cosplayer as Napoleon to save the president's daughter. 10 out of 10. That's a pretty good description of the game, too, you know.
Oh,
That's freaking spot on.
that is great. Nah, like I said, I was just never like I tried playing 5 a little bit, didn't get into it. Tried like I just
Well,
and
no, 5 it wasn't as good as 4. Neither was 6. Don't get it twisted. 5 and 6 weren't as good as 4. 4
Right.
kept that kind of same kind of creep factor, and yet it was difficult to get all the puzzles right. You know, it had just enough of kind of a new feel because of the control style that you were, you know, it was a much easier control scheme.
yeah.
And yeah, 4 definitely had completely different what do you call it, style. And then when 5 came along, it was a little different because you had a teammate essentially. Like you could, it was made to play online where you would have a
Yeah.
partner, and it kind of changed the dynamic of the game. And they tried to keep the same kind of bad guys from 4. And when they brought that kind of aspect into 5, it just wasn't the same. Like it wasn't as creepy. It took place in like Africa, and I don't know. It just didn't have. Like, don't get me wrong. I played through it, but it definitely didn't have the creep out factor that 4 had.
Did you
That
guys
and
play Left?
Left 4 Dead.
Everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have both
I
of
played-
them on my
I like
Steam
that.
account, and 2 with all the DLCs and extras and whatnot, and some mods. I'm not even gonna lie, from the Steam Workshop on my computer right now.
Nice. I haven't played them since they came out, but I thought those were pretty fun.
Oh yeah, dude. Like my whole problem is that type of gameplay, it does get repetitive and old very, very quickly. And that's the problem. So I'd play it sparingly. Because like I said,
Yeah, well, I don't know. I had fun.
so all right.
I guess I did just play it through it, then kind of quit though. So maybe you're right.
Like but
Like I didn't replay it, you know.
oh yeah.
But I did
No.
like it.
So for a quick laugh real quick. All
Mhm.
right. Sharing my screen real quick. Let me enlarge myself. All right. So a buddy of mine noticed something about the logo for 6.
That it looks like a cum stain.
No, well, something along that line. It was more a dude getting a blowjob.
Huh?
Okay.
Dude standing there.
I can see
His
where
hand-
he thinks that, and I disagree.
Oh, there's the mouth. Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
It's it's something funny.
It's like saying I saw Jesus in toast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, we lost him. Was that Bob that dropped?
Yep, he closed the wrong window.
Rip. Press F.
Closed the
chat.
whole browser instead of just closing the one tab.
Oh yeah, I bet you're right. You know, I've done that before. On
You just-
stream too.
It says we're still live.
Oh, we will be for a few
Yeah, long
minutes.
as some of us are- yeah. If he makes it back in time.
Yeah.
So zombies
So
got
now
him.
it says Resident Evil over at Bob's house.
That'd be pretty scary.
Whew.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, I meant to.
What
What
you did.
I was trying.
We know what he did.
Yes, y'all annoyed me, and I had to go away because I was butt hurt. No,
Rage
I went-
quit.
yes, exactly. No, I went to enlarge the page back to the full, for where it's not just little window, big window for my second screen, and I accidentally exited out. I was like, no, come on, I fix, yay!
Yeah. Fortunately, it gives you a little time.
Right. But yeah, either way, may I say though that the Left 4 Dead series the one thing I will give it though is it did have interesting characters in both of them. They had very interesting characters. Like you'd sit there play, you could see the subtle dynamic in the way they talk to each other and things like that that made the game so. I guess you could say, what's the word? Enveloping. That envelop you.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it was really good for its time too.
Mhm.
It kind of pushed the envelope on what they could do. I mean, the first one's from like 2008. So.
Right. And then you have like it also because of the Left 4 Dead games. Now you got like Vermintide, which Deathwing, both of them, Warhammer games, but like I want to get Deathwing just because I mean, come on, it looks badass. Looks like a lot of fun. I have Vermintide. I just need the second one. It sounds like somebody started playing something.
Oh yeah. It's funny how the audio comes through sometimes.
And I recognize it. What did you start playing?
Diablo 2.
Nice.
The way to do it.
I went ahead and put 3 on my computer, so if you ever want to get down on it, like you purchase it and get down on it, I'll run you through that real quick, get you up to your max level so you can start paragoning.
Sounds like something that might happen. I don't know.
Word. I just need to get
D3.
I like that. Speaking of Diablo, don't you all have phones? Yes, but we respect ourselves enough to not download that game.
I know, right? Blizzard, they just don't even know what they're doing anymore.
Once again,
So this PC franchise that's been around since 1996, don't you guys want to play it on your phone? No.
Yeah, because everybody has phones, right?
yeah.
Everybody has.
Well,
Unfortunately, I also have Android, which takes up half the hard drive space. So I don't really need a Diablo game on my phone to take up the rest.
right. No, that's one thing that I will admit bothered me about the way they did that, though. The fact that it's like, oh, but everybody has phones. I mean, don't you want to play Diablo anywhere? Not
No.
really. Like, the whole point of Diablo is you sit down in front of your computer with, basically some buddies.
It's click based. Like
Yeah.
everything
Yes.
you do, I'm clicking. So it just does not work. Like you'd have to fundamentally change it. It's like when they put Command and Conquer on mobile. It was a joke.
Ain't that the truth? I mean, well, granted,
Just
RTSs
not
don't
gonna
really
work.
well, RTSs don't really work on mobile anyway. Like unless they're like the
Mhm.
really low, like
You have to do Clash of Clans kind of shit.
say that again?
Clash of Clans, you can do stuff like that.
Yes, that's actually the type I was talking about, like the really old school ones where all the combat was mainly you built up all your forces and the combat was mainly like text based and shit. I mean,
Or automated, like you set
Mhm.
your armies and they just like you don't really control it after that.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
games that play themselves.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I'd have gone for Ada. Probably would have betrayed. Oh, they're talking Resident Evil. Only reason why I know is because I've read the books. As funny as that sounds. I
You must
read.
be behind doing the chat.
I'm sorry, we're having fun over there in the chat.
Oh, have fun. You're not hearing me complain. You are not hearing me complain. Like, I don't know. Like I said, I'm just kind of looking at it as it might be about that time. Give it about 11 more minutes and then call it at 7. Does that, 7 my time? Does that work for everyone?
Sure.
Sure.
Word. So, last topic. Why we should not let Ninja have hookers.
I'll take the pro argument that we should let him have them.
No.
I support his right.
You don't have to get rid of the bodies.
I will
Every
support
time.
those thoughts.
Right. As long as they pay their taxes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I think anybody should be allowed to have hookers.
Even Ninja, or especially Ninja.
You're losing this argument, Bob.
Someone buy me a hooker. I want one.
I'm trying to help a friend in need
You
here.
gotta fund.
Ninja, will you get me a hooker?
You
Please?
start a GoFundMe.
Send one over to me.
I'm clicking the link now.
Damn it!
Hookers make the
your
world
argument.
Oh.
I don't think you quite understand the desperation that I have over here.
No. I completely understand. You live in Utah. That right there says everything. Sorry, but
I've got. There's no hookers over here in Pennsylvania, but I do have my copy of Blue Mamba. No.
Well, there you go.
page 3.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Or the last page. 23.
Blam.
23 is fine too.
I like that. Hookers 1, Bob 0. Oh.
Sorry, Bob.
Oh.
Fuck, that's great.
Seppuku. I
We'll
just
we'll do a Twitter poll.
Yeah, there you go.
No. So, I simply must seppuku. I dishonor family. So seppuku now.
Should I get a hooker or go see a movie?
Why not both?
Oh,
Well, yeah, the movie's going to be far more expensive.
Probably.
Yeah,
That's
I can't afford both.
Depends. What's the movie? What's the movie?
I don't know.
Oh,
Everything I see sucks.
I don't even know.
Well, there
what's
you go.
out. I don't even know what's out right now. That's the sad thing.
The most entertaining movie that I see that's playing right now looks like Ralph Breaks the Internet.
That does look like it's going to be a cute movie.
Why didn't they call it Ralph Wrecks the Internet?
You say Wreck-It Ralph?
Yeah, that's who it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
But
So they should have called it Ralph Wrecks the Internet instead of
Yeah, they
Ralph,
should have,
Ralph
but-
Breaks the Internet.
There's some stupid excuse why they didn't.
I
Well, they wanted to go with that thing from like 2012, you know, when What's Her Face broke the internet.
All right.
It's so topical.
Sure.
All these kids are going to be clamoring for that.
Yeah.
All right.
okay.
All right. So Ralph Breaks the Internet looks good. The Grinch looks good. I haven't seen the first Creed, so I can't say anything about Creed 2. Fantastic Beasts might be good. I
Seen
want to
it.
see. How was it?
Decent.
Decent?
Yeah.
Word. Robin Hood looks like.
Don't bother.
Don't bother. You didn't like it?
If you're going to the movie to be for like, oh, crap. If Robin Hood is your only choice, go to the theater, buy a popcorn and drink, come home and turn on a movie at home.
Yeah. Go home and watch RoboCop again.
Yeah, because Robin Hood was like, it was a bastardization of the story. The costuming was anachronistic, and most of the time it didn't make sense.
Wow.
It was, yeah, just don't bother. There's a reason why it's bombing.
No, I will take your word for it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. The only reason why I really wanted to see it in the first place is because of the fact that they got the kid that played Eggsy in the Kingsman movies.
Yeah,
let's
he
be
sucks
hon-
in this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I figured he would have been a good cast for that at least.
No. Well, no.
No. And all
I
gotta
would go
say-
with Creed.
go with what?
That's good. Creed. I'm sure Creed would be good.
Yeah, Creed would be good. Not my kind of movie though.
Yeah, that's your go-to. Oh, really? I love
Yeah.
Rocky and all that stuff.
I liked Rocky when I was younger, but I couldn't sit through this movie. Wouldn't be able to do it. I would
Oh.
rather go watch Fantastic Beasts again
There you go.
and play on Twitter while I'm watching the movie.
All right. Real quick.
Yeah.
Gorgonite Emissary. It's the holidays. I at least want to see the Grinch. Like, I'm sad that you can't, like, I'm sad Netflix doesn't have the Grinch Who Stole Christmas, all right? The old one. They had the Jim Carrey one, but not the old original one. I'm still kind of
I'm pretty
salty
sure
about-
that's
I'm hearing from Grinch fans that this one is the best out of all of them.
Really?
Yeah,
Hmm.
including the original.
Boo. Like, I'm not a Grinch fan, but it's not the holidays unless you watch, Grinch Who Stole
Yeah.
Christmas.
I used to watch it. It would always be on like TNT or TBS or something.
Uh-huh.
When I was a kid, and you'd end up watching it like 4 or 5 times by the time Christmas came around. And my parents would be like, "Not the Grinch again."
Good saying.
They're like, "Why is the Grinch so grumpy?" I was like, "Well, you sing songs about how you talk shit about him all day. Why wouldn't he be grumpy?"
You're a mean
Down there.
one, Mr. Grinch.
Like, was he mean before or after they?
That's one that we will never know because Dr. Seuss has long since been dead, and I don't think he wrote a prequel to that. Don't think he wrote a
No,
prequel.
he didn't.
So
I don't think so. He wrote sequels to it though. There's a
Gotcha.
Halloween story actually.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, they made it into an animated thing. It's really trippy. It's called Halloween is Grinch Night, and it's like about the Grinch going around. I don't know. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I do remember it being really weird and kind of spooky because it was a Halloween thing.
Oh,
And
gotcha.
yeah, it was the Grinch.
All right. Important question. Nightmare Before Christmas. Is it a Halloween movie or a Christmas movie?
Both.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's a Thanksgiving movie.
All I gotta say, that's one of those, like, the correct answer is trick question, both. Like,
I'd say both, but I usually end up watching it on Halloween.
I love it for both, dude. Like, I have it on my hard drive at all times. What does that say? Like, that's one of
It's
my.
a good one.
Mhm. Another good holiday movie, A Christmas Carol.
The Muppet one? Yeah, no, you got to get the Muppet Christmas Carol. That's the best one.
No,
No, Scrooged. That's the best.
Yeah.
version
Oh,
of that
okay, yeah,
story.
Scrooge. That's true. I do love that movie.
That's the
That
best
was
telling of that
old
story.
yeah.
when he was in his
Fight you.
I prefer the one with Scrooge McDuck and whatnot because that's just that's.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, but you
I
can't.
used to watch that.
Yeah, like
Yeah, what was that called? Like Christmas Carol? Was that
yeah,
all it was?
Christmas
Or
Carol.
it was just a little animated thing with him.
Yep,
That was cool.
dude, I loved that one. I was
do
disappointed, but I was so disappointed when they didn't have that on Netflix either.
Hmm.
Oh, I should have done that while I was over there. Damn it! I was like, my friend has it on his computer, and I meant to grab it up and completely forgot about it. But all right, it's 6:59, so I guess let's go ahead and yeah, Gorgonite's with me on that one at least. But Let's go ahead and start wrapping up. Jim, your closing pitch, kind sir.
Bye.
That's it.
That's it.
They're not gonna talk about Blue Mamba. Not gonna pitch
Yeah,
your
I've been
Twitter.
I'm so
Posting
fucking brain
on
fried right
LinkedIn.
now.
Your brain fried.
posting links.
All right. Well,
There
at
you go.
least Ninja's got you covered.
Posted links for Blue Mamba in the chat if anybody wants
Thanks.
to go check out some amazing comics.
It really is. It really is. Like,
Fantastic artwork, fantastic story. All around, it's what good comics are made of.
there you go. Go for it, Ninja. Go for it. But all right. DC, you're up, sir.
Oh yeah, it was fun to hang out. We'll have to catch you guys next Saturday. Thanks for listening to us ramble on for a couple hours.
Right? Comic books, video games, politics.
Yeah,
all of
pretty
the-
much the whole game. But
Exactly. God damn it, Gorgonite. Later, and remember, it's only gay if the balls touch. Fucking Gorgonite. Glad to see you back, though. Man,
Yeah.
no lie.
Gorgonite. Great to have you here with us.
Definitely. All right, Ninja, you are up, sir.
Sorry for being so quiet there for a little while. But you can follow me on Twitter and at your friendly neighborhood ninja or your ninja friend and on YouTube. And don't worry, guys. Sporkman is not going anywhere. We're going to make sure that we have Sporkman comics for you guys. I should have put the link in there, but oh well. And also, I'll be making a comic called Psychotron with Doug Garrett, the creator of Lone Wolf. That's going to be coming out here soon, eventually. All right. That's about it for me.
Word.
Much
And-
love to you guys. Much love.
Nice. And as always, I'm your host, the one and only Bob Jones. And you can follow me on Twitter at Brainiac420. You can find me on Minds and Gab at Bob Jones Comic Wars. And at the same time, I also have a BitChute channel that is, I do believe, Bob Jones Comic Wars as well. So check me out there. But all right, folks, we are out of here.